Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to talk about factorizing quadratic expressions, um, expressions of the monic and non-monic nature. So first of all, quadratic equations or expressions, they have x or the pronumeral or the letter with the highest power of 2. And the standard format for a quadratic expression is ax squared plus bx plus c, where a and b and c here are numbers. A is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the coefficient of x to the power of 0, which is 1, and 1 times c is c. So to remember it, you can think of them like x squared is the big boy in the group. X, which has a power of 1, is a small boy. And here we actually have an x to the power of 0. But since anything raised to the power of 0 is 1, 1 times c will still be c. So they are organized nicely in order from the big boy, small boy, and let's call this guy a nobody. And so their coefficients or the numbers in front of them are also arranged in alphabetical order. First letter for the big boy, second letter for the small boy, and C is for the nobody. Okay, so if we have a monic expression, a monic expression is when A, which is the coefficient of the big boy, x squared, is 1. The word monic comes from the prefix mono, which means 1. So when a is equals to 1, then the expression is called monic. Okay, so how do we factorize a monic expression? Well, for those that can be factorized in this method, you find two factors. Factors are numbers that multiply. You find two factors of the c value. Take note, the c must be with the sign. The c is a negative 72, and the same numbers must add to give you the b value, which is the coefficient of the small boy x. In our case, it's negative 6. So if we think of all the factors of negative 72, these two, 12 and 6, are the ones that add to give a negative 6. Now, when you are adding numbers with different signs, the rule for the written numbers say you subtract them, 12 minus 6, and then you put down the sign of the larger number, which is 12, with the negative. So the answer is a negative 6. Now, once you find these two numbers, that's it. Your factors now will be x minus 12. That's one factor. And the other factor is x plus 6. Take note, factors multiply to give you an answer. So when we put them in bracket like this, the brackets also mean multiply. So everything in here will be multiplying by everything in here. So that's it. We have factorized this monic expression into x minus 12 times x plus 6. Now you can proof check your answer by reversing the process and expand the bracket. Okay, so we have factorized our expression to x minus 12 and x plus 6. Since they are factors and they are multiplying, x will be multiplied by x, which gives x squared. X times 6 gives positive 6x. Negative 12 times x gives negative 12x. negative 12 times 6 gives negative 72. Now when we collect like terms in the middle, we'll have x squared, 6x minus 12x. You see 6x is positive and 12x is negative. So it's kind of like we are adding numbers with opposite signs. So we subtract them. 12 subtract 6 is a 6, and the sign of the larger one is negative. So the answer is a minus 6x minus 72. You see, when we expand, we get back to the original expression up here. So that means our factors are correct. Okay. This example is a non-monic one because the value of a is 2. Now, you can check out these numbers a, b, and c to see if they have a common factor. So, as we have seen before, the monic expression is very easy to factorize by just finding the factors of c. So if you see a non-monic expression, try to see if you can manipulate it and make it become a monic, which it's easy to solve. I mean, factorize. So if you look at the a and the b and the c value, they all have a common factor of 2. So put the common factor outside, and then we find the uncommon factors and put them in bracket. So here's how you find the other factors. 2 times what will give you 2x squared. Well, 2 times x squared gives you 2x squared. Or you can go the other way. 2x squared divided by 2 gives x squared. So x squared is the other factor. Now 2 times what will give you a negative 10x. 2 times negative 5x gives a negative 10x. Or negative 10x divided by 2 gives a negative 5x. And 2 times negative 14 gives a negative 28. Or negative 28 dividing by 2 gives negative 14. Now once we factorize the common factor out there, you see the uncommon factor inside the bracket is now a monic expression. So we can go and find two factors of negative 14, the c value. Negative 14 is the c, and negative 5 is the b value. So we find two factors of negative 14, the c value, which add. This is wrong. Okay, they must add to give the b value, which is negative 5. So these two numbers, negative 7 and positive 2, will, when you multiply, they will give you negative 14. And when you add them, again, the rule for directed numbers say if you add numbers with opposite signs, you subtract them and put down the sign of the larger number. So the difference is 5 and the sign of the larger number 7 is negative. And so the factors of the bracket expression is x minus 7 times x plus 2. And don't forget, we have a common factor of 2 outside there. So this expression has 3 factors, like these 3 terms multiplied to give the original. Okay, let's expand the bracket to proof check. When we multiply normal numbers like 2 times 7 times 3, what we normally do in our calculation is we multiply the first 2 numbers, we get the answer, like 2 times 7 is a 14, and then 14 times 3, 14 times 3, let's see, 3 times 4 is 12, carry 1, and 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 42. Take note, we multiply the first 2 terms, get the answer, and then the answer multiplying by the third term or third number. So that's the same thing we do with our brackets. So we multiply 2 times x minus 7 first, and to do that we expand by 2 times x, which is 2x, and 2 times negative 7 gives negative 14. We've got the answer for the first two factors multiplying, and then we get the answer and we multiply by the third factor again. Take note, I am putting brackets around the answer for the first multiplication because brackets tell me to multiply the whole answer by the third factor, and also factors are numbers that multiply. So now we multiply the two factors left, so we go 2x times x gives 2x squared, 2x times 2 gives 4x, negative 14 times x gives negative 14x, and negative 14 times positive 2 gives negative 28. And of course we collect like terms. Like terms are 4x and 14x. They are both small boys, so they can hang out together. Now 4x minus 14x, we have a positive and a negative, or a small number minusing a bigger number. You subtract, get the bigger one, subtract the smaller one, and put down the sign of the larger number. So our final answer will be 2x squared. 4x minus 14x is negative 10x. 14 minus 4 is 10, and the sign of the larger number is negative 14, so negative 10x, and minus 28. We have 2x squared minus 10x minus 8 when we expand the factors that we found. So if we check with the original expression, you see we started with 2x squared minus 10x minus 28. So our factors here are good, they're correct. Now let's look at the non-monic quadratic expression, where the a coefficient of the big boy with the highest power 2 is not equal to 1, so it can be any other number. We have 15x squared minus x minus 6. Now take note, we cannot factorize it like the monic one, because even if we find two factors of negative 6 that can add to give us a negative 1, we cannot cater for this 15, the a value here. Let me show you. So we have 15x squared minus x minus 6. 15x squared minus x minus 6. See, the two factors of 6, negative 6, that can add to give negative 1 are negative 3 and positive 2. Negative 3, positive 2. So if we just go and say the factors of our expression here is x plus 3 and x minus 3 and x plus 2, when we expand again, it will give us x squared plus 2x minus 3x minus 6, which will simplify when collecting like terms. It will simplify down to x squared minus x minus 6. Now you see, this is not like the original. You see, we have forgotten about the 15, which is the A value. So that means this method that worked for the monic expression will not work here. We have to add something extra. So what we do is we find a new C value, which is done by multiplying the A value with the old C value. Let's call this the old. So our A is 15 and the old C is a negative 6. 15 times negative 6 is a negative 90. Now we find two factors of the new C value that will add to give the B value, which is a negative 1. And these two numbers are negative 10 and positive 9. Negative 10, positive 9. Okay, we don't factorize yet. We expand our expression, and instead of writing negative 1x, we expand it and we say negative 10x plus 9x, like this. 15x squared. In the middle, we go minus 10x plus 9x. These are the two numbers we get from here. Take note, when we add them, we still get back to the original, which is negative 1x. Okay, we complete by putting in negative 6. Now you see we have four terms, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we'll do is we will group them and then we factorize. So we group them according to their common factor. 15 and 10, they have a common factor of 5. X squared and x have a common factor of x. So 5x go outside the bracket, and then 15x squared divided by 5x gives 3x. And 5x times what number will give a negative 10x? Or 5x times negative 2 gives a negative 10x. So we have grouped them in twos, and we factorize these two first. Now we factorize these two. So the common factor for 9 and negative 6 is positive 3. Positive 3. And 9x divided by 3 gives 3x. And negative 6 divided by 3 gives a negative 2. Take note, when you group and factorize, the uncommon factors in the brackets must be the same. 3x minus 2, 3x minus 2. If they end up different, then something is wrong. Okay, after we group and factorize, we now combine the factors for the two groups. And the common factors for the two groups are 3x minus 2, so that becomes the common factor for the whole expression. 3x minus 2, and the uncommon factor is 5x plus 3. Of course, you have to put them in brackets because they are factors and they must multiply, and brackets also mean multiply. Take note that not all quadratic expressions follow these two methods. There are some that cannot be factorized this method, so they could follow other methods of factorizing. That's it for now. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you get notified of more videos that are coming. Get my talk books in the link below. See you. Bye.